What the building is?
One.
Me and my dog to this bitch. My sister, my dog, why is you hiding it, man? Man, I swear, bro, look at my wife, man. You so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? But you all in the bag of chips.
In the early hours of March 30th, 2025, 38-year-old Shaterica Smith and her husband Tracy Johnson got into a heated argument in their Alexandria home. As tensions escalated, Tracy pulled out a gun and shot Shaterica dead before turning the weapon on himself. Police responded to the 5900 block of Ronmar Drive around 4:30 a.m. after neighbors reported hearing gunshots. Officers discovered both Shaterica and 42-year-old Tracy deceased at the scene, thus their picture-perfect social media marriage ending in violence that shocked the community. While investigators pieced together what happened, one devastating truth emerged. The couple, who appeared to have the perfect relationship online, had been living a drastically different reality behind closed doors. This is the chilling story of a social media facade, a deteriorating marriage, and the deadly price paid when online perfection meets private pain. This is the tragic case of Shaterica Smith and Tracy Johnson. Alexandria police say at around 4:30 a.m. they responded to a domestic disturbance in the 5900 block of Ronmar Drive. Two bodies were discovered upon arrival, 38-year-old Shaterica Smith and 42-year-old Tracy Johnson. Authorities say it appears that both died from gunshot wounds, but that Johnson's appeared to be self-inflicted. They are investigating this incident as an apparent murder-suicide. Alexandria, Louisiana sits at the heart of central Louisiana, a vibrant commercial, retail, educational, and healthcare center. Despite its community spirit and cultural heritage, Alexandria carries a higher crime rate than the national average. Residents face a 1 in 17 chance of becoming a victim of any crime and a 1 in 109 chance of being a victim of violent crime. Yet even in a city familiar with tragedy, the murder-suicide of a couple known for their loving social media presence left many struggling to reconcile what they thought they knew about the pair with the violent reality. This happened early in the morning when they heard shots, reported one commentator covering the case. What I'm truly hoping is that she didn't even see this coming, because you got to just imagine, allegedly, if this is the love of your life, your husband, shooting you. Shaterica Smith, born in Alexandria, attended Peabody Magnet High School, where she developed a reputation for her vibrant personality and fashion sense. Those who knew her described a woman full of life and energy, someone who embraced every moment with enthusiasm and style. "This is a beautiful, beautiful young lady," remarked a commentator familiar with the case, emphasizing the tragic loss. As a mother of two, Shaterica devoted herself to her children, while also building her own identity. She loved to dress well and frequently showcased her ability to coordinate stylish outfits. Her social media presence highlighted this talent, with numerous videos posted for friends and family, showcasing not just her fashion sense, but her joyful approach to life. "Sometimes as women we just want love, we just want affection," noted one observer reflecting on Shaterica's journey. Before meeting Tracy, Shaterica had established herself as someone who enjoyed sharing glimpses of her life online, though her content would evolve significantly as her relationship status changed. Tracy Johnson brought his own established life to their relationship, though specific details about his professional background remain limited in public records. Tracy presented himself as successful and stable. His public persona was that of a loving, attentive partner, someone who appeared to cherish Shaterica and participate enthusiastically in their shared social media presence. When Shaterica and Tracy met, their connection seemed instantaneous and powerful. Their relationship quickly became a central theme in Shaterica's increasingly popular social media content. They were frequently seen together in videos that showcased their activities, traveling, swimming, dancing, and engaging in various romantic pursuits that earned them the label of couple goals among their growing audience. "We about to go pairing, yes we all," Shaterica would announce excitedly in videos of the couple heading out together. "We're on the way," became another frequent refrain as they documented their adventures. Their online chemistry was palpable. Videos would capture their playful banter and affectionate exchanges. "I love you, Tracy," Shaterica would say. "I love you more, B. And that's period," Tracy would respond. Mind a catchphrase that would appear in numerous videos throughout their relationship. The public reception to their relationship was overwhelmingly positive. Friends, family, and followers celebrated what appeared to be a perfect match. Comments on their posts frequently expressed admiration and even envy of their relationship. "They were seen as the couple everybody wants to become," noted one observer. Their marriage was the talk of the town. Tracy eventually proposed to Shaterica, leading to a wedding that both considered a milestone worth sharing extensively online. The ceremony and celebration appeared to represent the beginning of a beautiful chapter for the couple. It was the best day of her life, according to those who followed their journey. As they settled into married life, Shaterica and Tracy continued to cultivate their image as the ideal couple. They appeared to grow stronger together, their bond seemingly unbreakable as they shared carefully selected moments of their life together. After their marriage, they appeared to be more stronger and loved each other even more, noted someone familiar with their online presence. To those watching from outside, Tracy seemed to be everything Shaterica could want, minus a great dad. People believed Shaterica was so lucky to have found him. They pressured those that were available to be pressured in every possible way through their apparent perfection. But as Alexandria police would discover in the pre-dawn hours of March 30th, the reality behind this carefully crafted digital facade was far darker than anyone following their perfect love story could have imagined. The contrast between their public image and private reality would soon become the centerpiece of a tragedy that left 2 children without parents and a community questioning everything they thought they knew about the couple they had admired from afar. As Shaterica and Tracy's relationship blossomed, so did their social media presence. What began as occasional couple photos evolved into a carefully crafted digital narrative that attracted thousands of followers across various platforms. Their online portfolio painted the picture of a perfect couple, attractive, loving, and living a life that many could only dream of attaining. Tracy's admiration for Shaterica became a cornerstone of their online image. His posts frequently showcased his wife in flattering photos, accompanied by captions overflowing with praise and adoration. "My queen looking flawless as always," he would write beneath pictures of Shaterica dressed up for events. "How did I get so lucky?" appeared under casual snapshots of her around their home. This public display of appreciation resonated with followers who saw in Tracy the ideal devoted husband, one who not only loved his wife, but wasn't afraid to proclaim that love to the world. Shaterica reciprocated this admiration in her own posts, portraying Tracy as the perfect partner who had brought stability and joy to her life. Their mutual adoration played out for an ever-growing audience, creating a feedback loop of validation as comment sections filled with praise for what appeared to be the perfect relationship. Their home life, as presented online, included adorable pets that added to their image as a wholesome family. Their dogs frequently appeared in photos and videos, becoming minor celebrities in their own right among loyal followers. These pets were presented as beloved family members, with the couple sharing moments of them playing together, sleeping in cute positions, or being pampered with treats and toys. "The dogs here, they're just posting about the dogs," noted one observer, highlighting how even their pets became part of their carefully constructed narrative. The couple's appearance was always impeccable in their shared content. Whether dressed for formal occasions or casual outings, they presented themselves as a stylish, attractive pair who complemented each other perfectly. Their coordinated outfits for holidays and special events became something followers looked forward to seeing. Tracy's handsome, composed presence balanced with Shaterica's vibrant beauty created a visually appealing couple that embodied relationship goals for many who followed their journey. Their engagement announcement generated massive engagement across their platforms. Tracy had ensured Shaterica's children were involved in the proposal, recognizing their importance in her life and adding another layer to his image as a thoughtful, family-oriented man. The post showcasing Shaterica's ring and joyful expression became one of their most liked updates, with followers expressing excitement about following their journey to the altar. Their June 2022 wedding was shared through carefully selected highlights that presented the day as nothing short of magical. Shaterica looked stunning in her gown, while Tracy appeared both handsome and emotional as they exchanged vows. Rather than overwhelming followers with countless wedding photos, they curated a perfect highlight reel that told the story of their special day while maintaining an air of intimacy and exclusivity. After the wedding, their content evolved to showcase life as newlyweds. Holiday celebrations became opportunities to display their perfect home, coordinated outfits, and harmonious family life, including Shaterica's children and their pets. Anniversary posts featured elaborate photo shoots and heartfelt tributes to each other that reinforced their unwavering commitment. Their home was portrayed as a sanctuary of love and stability, immaculately decorated, always tidy, and filled with signs of happiness and prosperity. Travel featured prominently in their shared narrative. Exotic locations and luxury accommodations suggested financial success and a life of privilege. Beach photos, city explorations, and resort stays all contributed to an image of a couple who not only loved each other deeply, but also enjoyed the finer things in life together. These trips were presented as regular occurrences, creating the impression of a lifestyle unencumbered by financial constraints. The couple's social gatherings also enhanced their perfect image. Whether hosting at home or attending events, they were consistently portrayed as the central couple, admired by friends, and setting the standard for relationships in their social circle. They appeared perfectly in sync even in group settings, their connection obvious to everyone around them. Their home life with Shaterica's children was presented as a seamless blending of families. Tracy was shown in the role of dedicated stepfather, helping with homework, participating in activities, and forming genuine bonds with the children. This aspect of their relationship added depth to their perfect image. Tracy wasn't just an ideal husband, but also a wonderful father figure who had embraced family life completely. Friends and family appeared thoroughly supportive of their relationship, often commenting on social media about how perfect they were together. These external validations added credibility to the narrative they were crafting. Comments like "you two were made for each other" and the definition of relationship goals reinforced what the couple was already showcasing, that they had achieved a level of perfection in their relationship that others could only aspire to. They appeared to be like twin, noted one observer familiar with their online presence. They appeared to be like that couple goal every single person was seeking to find. The image they had built was comprehensive and convincing, a relationship that seemed to have everything: love, harmony, stability, passion, and mutual respect. Their online presence created pressure on others in their social circles. Friends in relationships found themselves comparing their own partnerships to what Tracy and Shaterica displayed. Single friends felt additional pressure to find someone who could measure up to the standard being set. They pressured those that were available to be pressured in every possible way, observed someone who witnessed the influence of their relationship on others. But as perfect as their life appeared in carefully filtered photos and edited videos, the reality behind closed doors was beginning to diverge from this meticulously crafted public image. By early 2024, though most followers remained captivated by the facade, subtle shifts in their content hinted at troubles that most failed to recognize, the first cracks in an image that had seemed flawless. Behind the filtered photos and carefully edited videos, trouble was brewing in Shaterica and Tracy's marriage. Those who followed the couple closely began to notice subtle shifts in their interaction style. The once natural flow of their conversations in videos became stilted at times, with moments of underlying tension visible beneath forced smiles. Their famous call and response, "I love you, Tracy," and "I love you more, B," and that's period, started appearing less frequently in their content, replaced by more generic captions and interactions. People who knew Shaterica personally noted that she began calling family less often, and when she did, conversations centered around her children or work, deliberately avoiding mention of Tracy or their marriage. When directly asked about her relationship, Shaterica would quickly change the subject or offer simple reassurances that everything was fine before steering the conversation in another direction. The dynamics in their videos underwent a noticeable shift, where once they moved in perfect synchronicity, now there were awkward pauses and moments where they seemed out of step with each other. Followers with keen eyes spotted instances where a comment lingered too long, creating an uncomfortable silence, or where a look exchanged between them conveyed something deeper and more troubled than the happiness they were attempting to project. People believed that Tracy was the man, noted one observer familiar with their online presence. They believed Shaterica was so lucky. But behind this perception, the relationship was straining under pressures invisible to their audience. The carefully constructed image they had built was beginning to show hairline fractures that would eventually spread. By early 2024, Shaterica's social media content began featuring a marked increase in solo activities. Her posts suddenly showcased more girls' nights out, basketball games with friends, and social gatherings where Tracy was noticeably absent. Shaterica at this stage started to go out more. Observed someone who followed their social media journey closely. She partied more and went on more girls' trips. These outings represented more than just innocent social activities. They signaled Shaterica's growing independence and possible desire for space from her marriage. In many of these solo posts, observant followers noticed the absence of her wedding ring, a detail that sparked private conversations among their audience, but was rarely mentioned in public comments. As Shaterica ventured out more frequently without Tracy, her appearance and presentation underwent a transformation as well. Her outfits became more revealing, her makeup more dramatic, her overall style shifting back toward the bold choices she had favored before marriage. This change was not subtle. It was a deliberate return to a version of herself that had been somewhat subdued during the height of their perfect couple era. The content on Shaterica's social media took on a decidedly more provocative tone. Her dancing in videos became more sensual, her poses more suggestive. She posted more sexy videos online, noted an observer who tracked these changes. The woman who had once presented herself primarily as a wife and stepmother was reclaiming aspects of her identity that had been downplayed in the construction of their couple image. Perhaps most telling were the cryptic messages that began appearing in her captions. Statements like, "Sometimes you have to choose yourself, and not everyone deserves access to your peace," hinted at internal struggles that she wasn't explicitly addressing. These vague references to personal challenges left followers speculating about what might be happening behind the scenes. While Shaterica's content grew more independent and provocative, Tracy's online presence underwent its own transformation. His posts became less frequent, and when he did share, it was rarely with Shaterica. Instead, he began posting philosophical quotes about loyalty, respect, and knowing one's worth. A man can only tolerate disrespect for so long before he has to make a decision. Read one of his posts in early 2025, a concerning foreshadowing of what was to come. The frequency of couple content declined dramatically during this period. Where they once appeared together in multiple posts per week, they might now be seen together only occasionally, usually during major events or family gatherings, where their absence from each other's side would have been too conspicuous. Even in these forced appearances together, the chemistry that had once made them couple goals was noticeably diminished. For those outside their immediate circle, these changes might have seemed like natural evolutions in a maturing relationship. But for those closer to the couple, they were warning signs of serious trouble. According to sources familiar with their private life, the reality of their relationship had diverged dramatically from its portrayal online. Behind closed doors, Tracy had reportedly become increasingly controlling as Shaterica's independent activities increased. Tracy was losing her and could not handle this, stated one account of their deteriorating relationship. His need for control manifested in monitoring her phone, questioning her about male comments on her social media posts, and accusing her of infidelity when she went out with friends. This push and pull dynamic, Tracy's increasing need for control and Shaterica's growing resistance to it, created a volatile situation that mostly played out in private. While they maintained a semblance of their loving couple image during family gatherings and in strategically posted social media content, their private interactions had reportedly become strained and at times hostile. Arguments about Shaterica's social media presence became frequent points of contention. Her increasingly provocative posts and the male attention they attracted became sources of jealousy for Tracy. What had once been a shared passion, building their online presence together, had transformed into a battleground where their conflicting desires played out. In summary, there was fire on the mountain in this once peaceful home, observed someone with knowledge of their relationship. Things had become bad in the home, even though people who were not close to them still believed what they saw online and were still envious of their relationship because of the facade showed. Family members had begun to notice concerning signs as well. Shaterica's mother reportedly questioned whether she felt safe in her marriage during a family gathering just weeks before the tragedy. Though Shaterica dismissed these concerns, the fact that they had been raised indicated the visible deterioration of a relationship that had once seemed perfect. As February turned to March 2025, the contrast between their public image and private reality had grown to a breaking point. While their social media accounts still featured occasional happy moments and continued to attract envious comments from followers unaware of the truth, those closest to the couple had begun to worry about where their increasingly troubled relationship might lead. By March 2025, the tensions between Shaterica and Tracy had escalated beyond private disagreements into visible strain that even their most carefully staged public appearances couldn't fully conceal. At a cousin's birthday celebration, several family members later recalled noticing how the couple barely spoke to each other throughout the evening. When they did interact, their exchanges were short and tinged with an underlying hostility that contradicted the loving couple image they had cultivated online. Alleged confrontations about Shaterica's independence had become more frequent and intense. According to those close to the situation, Tracy had begun making demands about her activities, insisting she inform him of her whereabouts and questioning her when she returned home from outings with friends. What had once been a relationship where both partners appeared to support each other's individuality had transformed into one where control and suspicion dominated. Their social media provided subtle evidence of this deterioration. In February, Shaterica posted a video of herself at a basketball game without Tracy, captioning it simply "needed this night out." Tracy commented publicly with what appeared to be a supportive message, but those who knew them recognized the terse nature of his response compared to his formerly effusive comments on her posts. Meanwhile, Shaterica's content had taken on an increasingly defiant tone. "They gov. No you didn't. You put a +1 on there," she stated in one cryptic video that followers struggled to interpret, but those closer to the situation understood reflected ongoing conflicts about her social activities. Another post showed her defiantly stating, "I ain't moving. Y'all sick of," suggesting resistance to pressure she was facing. In early March, approximately 2 weeks before the tragedy, Shaterica and Tracy attended a family dinner at her mother's home. During this gathering, observant family members noticed the strain between them. Shaterica's mother, concerned by what she perceived as controlling behavior from Tracy and subtle signs of distress in her daughter, reportedly pulled Shaterica aside to ask directly if she felt safe in her marriage. According to family sources, Shaterica dismissed these concerns, insisting that they were just going through a rough patch that would resolve itself. She just kept saying everything was fine, one family member later recalled. But you could tell from her eyes that something wasn't right. Despite these growing concerns from those closest to her, Shaterica maintained the facade online. Her last social media posts in the week leading up to the tragedy continued to include cheerful updates and stylish photos, though notably few included Tracy. Her final post just 2 days before her death featured her alone, captioned with the cryptic message, "Sometimes peace costs something, and I'm ready to pay." Tracy's final social media activity painted a different picture. His posts had become increasingly sparse, and his last update was a shared quote about loyalty that read, "When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time," seemed ominous in retrospect. As the final week of March 2025 progressed, Shaterica appeared to be withdrawing from her support networks. Friends reported declined invitations and brief, non-committal responses to messages, unusual behavior for someone typically so socially engaged. This increasing isolation, whether self-imposed or the result of Tracy's influence, meant fewer people were in regular contact with her as the situation at home deteriorated further. On March 29th, the day before the tragedy, the couple was seen shopping together at a local mall by several acquaintances who later described their interaction as tense but civil. Shaterica appeared to be selecting items on her own, while Tracy followed at a distance, his expression described as brooding by one witness. Their last known public sighting was at approximately 7:30 p.m. that evening, when they were observed leaving a restaurant after what one server described as a mostly silent meal. Phone records would later show that Shaterica made several calls to close friends that evening, though none lasted more than a few minutes. Her final outgoing text message, sent to her sister at 11:42 p.m., read simply, "Talk to you tomorrow, love you." She also posted a brief video to her social media showing her dogs sleeping, with no narration or caption, minus a mundane update that gave no indication of the tragedy to come. What transpired between that final peaceful image and the violence of the early morning hours remains largely unknown. According to police reports, neighbors in the 5900 block of Romar Drive reported hearing a heated argument coming from the Johnson-Smith residence beginning around 4 a.m. on March 30th. The voices grew progressively louder over the course of approximately 30 minutes. At approximately 4:30 a.m., these same neighbors reported hearing 2 distinct gunshots in quick succession. Within minutes, multiple 911 calls were placed, bringing Alexandria police officers to the scene at 4:36 a.m. Upon arrival, they found the front door unlocked and entered to discover a scene that starkly contradicted the perfect image the couple had presented to the world. In the master bedroom, officers discovered 38-year-old Shaterica Smith, deceased from a gunshot wound. Nearby lay 42-year-old Tracy Johnson, also deceased from what evidence suggested was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The preliminary investigation indicated that Tracy had shot Shaterica before turning the gun on himself. Alexandria police say at around 4:30 a.m. they responded to a domestic disturbance in the 5900 block of Romar Drive, reported local news later that day. 2 bodies were discovered upon arrival, 38-year-old Shaterica Smith and 42-year-old Tracy Johnson. Authorities say it appears that both died from gunshot wounds, but that Johnson's appeared to be self-inflicted. They are investigating this incident as an apparent murder-suicide. The couple, who had built a reputation as relationship goals, had come to a tragic end. Their perfect social media facade shattered by a violent reality that few had been allowed to see. In the hours following the discovery of Shaterica and Tracy's bodies, the Alexandria Police Department launched a comprehensive investigation. Crime scene technicians meticulously documented the scene, gathering evidence including the firearm, electronic devices, and personal effects that might shed light on the tragedy. Officers canvassed the neighborhood, collecting statements from residents who had heard the argument and subsequent gunshots. Preliminary findings supported the initial assessment of a murder-suicide. The couple's phones revealed a history of increasingly tense text exchanges in the weeks leading up to the incident. Tracy's search history showed concerning queries about signs of cheating and tracking spouse location, suggesting growing paranoia and suspicion. The incident is still an ongoing investigation, according to police, stated one report. Anyone with information about this incident is asked to contact APD. As news of the tragedy spread throughout Alexandria, the community's response was immediate and profound. Those who had followed the couple's seemingly perfect relationship online expressed shock and disbelief. "I've been following them for years," said one tearful fan outside the police cordon. "They were what everyone wanted to be. This doesn't make any sense." A memorial service held 5 days after the incident drew hundreds of mourners, including family members, friends and followers who had never met the couple in person but felt connected to them through social media. Shaterica's children, now in the care of her mother, received an outpouring of community support, with a local church establishing a fund to assist with their future educational needs. Social media platforms that had once hosted the couple's perfect image were transformed into digital memorials, with #Remembering Shaterica trending locally. Former followers shared their favorite posts from the couple, many expressing regret at not recognizing signs of trouble beneath the carefully curated content. Local news coverage of the tragedy prompted important conversations about domestic violence in Alexandria. "The sad part is that her kids are left with no parents," noted one commentator covering the case. "Do you guys think social media pressure was part of what caused this tragedy?" Experts in domestic violence who reviewed the case highlighted how social media can complicate abusive relationships. "What we see in the Shaterica and Tracy case is something we're encountering more frequently," explained Dr. Renee Collins, a psychologist specializing in domestic abuse. "The pressure to maintain a perfect online image can trap victims in situations they might otherwise leave. The fear of disappointing followers or admitting that the relationship isn't what it seems creates a dangerous kind of prison." These experts noted several warning signs that had been visible in the couple's later content. Shaterica's cryptic posts about personal struggles, her increased independence, Tracy's controlling comments disguised as concern, and the declining frequency of their appearances together. All these signals, while subtle, reflected classic patterns of a relationship in trouble. Social media creates a unique dynamic where couples feel pressured to perform happiness even when it doesn't exist, observed social media researcher Marcus Taylor. The Johnson-Smith case exemplifies how the gap between online portrayal and private reality can widen to devastating effect. The cultural phenomenon of couple goals came under particular scrutiny in the wake of the tragedy. The pressure to present perfect relationships for public consumption had created a situation where Shaterica and Tracy felt compelled to maintain their loving facade, even as their actual relationship deteriorated. This performance aspect of modern relationships, experts suggested, can prevent couples from honestly addressing problems or seeking help when needed. As Alexandria continues to process this tragedy, the impact on Shaterica's children remains the most heartbreaking aspect. Now living with their grandmother, the teenagers face the double burden of losing their mother and processing the disturbing circumstances of her death. School counselors and child psychologists have been made available to help them navigate their grief and trauma. The case has prompted changes in how local organizations address domestic violence awareness. The Alexandria Women's Center has launched a campaign specifically addressing the disparity between social media presentations and relationship realities, offering confidential support for those who may be maintaining public facades while suffering privately. Friends of the couple have reported profound shifts in how they view social media. "I look at perfect couples differently now," admitted one acquaintance. "I'm always wondering what's happening when the camera stops rolling." This heightened awareness reflects a broader cultural reckoning with the authenticity of online personas and the potential dangers of taking them at face value. For those recognizing parallels to their own relationships, domestic violence advocates emphasize the importance of reaching out. Resources exist in every community for those experiencing controlling behavior, isolation, or threats. The warning signs, including jealousy, monitoring of activities, and pressure to maintain certain appearances, should never be ignored, regardless of how perfect a relationship might appear to others. "Ladies, you do have to be careful," cautioned one commentator reflecting on the case. You need to really understand. Sometimes you can't tell a guy right in his face, "Hey, I don't want to be with you no more. I don't want to do this no more." You don't know what was going on in that house at that moment. The tragedy of Shaterica Smith and Tracy Johnson serves as a somber reminder of how appearances can deceive. The couple who danced, traveled and loved for the camera ultimately became victims of the very facade they had created, a perfect image that masked imperfect and ultimately dangerous realities. It is so sad to see this beautiful lady to have been shot and killed by her beloved husband, reflected one observer. Everyone thought they were the couple of the decade because of what they saw online. It's sad Tracy decided to end things in this manner. He could have gone a different route. As this case continues to unfold, perhaps its most important legacy will be a collective reassessment of how we perceive relationships online. The gap between filtered perfection and messy reality exists in most relationships shared on social media, but rarely with such tragic consequences. For Shaterica's children, the road ahead is long and difficult. The community has rallied around them, offering financial support, counseling, and the promise that their mother will be remembered not just for how she died, but for the vibrant, loving person she was beyond the camera's gaze. May Shaterica's memory be a blessing for her family and for all who knew her, and may her life and death be an inspiration and a turning point towards increased protection for domestic abuse survivors. Behind every perfect social media couple may lie untold struggles. In sharing these stories, we hope to prevent future tragedies by encouraging authenticity, support, and safety in relationships both online and behind closed doors.